Hidely ho, drinkerinos. It's another episode of the Idaho Booze Podcast with me, Steve Kuntz. Today, Alkai Manson from Langtree Farm stops by to talk all about his beautiful wines that are making their way to the Gem State. Mountain Brewers Fest is this weekend in Idaho Falls. I share some fond, albeit hazy, memories from the state's largest beer fest. And what else is there to do around here? We delve into the Boise Beer Buddies community calendar. Coming up next on the Idaho Booze Podcast. It's time for the Warren Reserve Cocktail of the Week, and this week's cocktail is a homegrown one. That's right. We worked it out in the lab right here at the studios. This is called the Spicy Hucker. You got 2 ounces of vodka. Go ahead, throw 2 ounces of vodka, 2 ounces of Warren Reserve Huckleberry Sour Mix, half ounce of simple syrup, and five big dashes of Warren Reserve Chili Lime Bitters. So go ahead and add all that stuff to a shaker with ice and shake that bad boy until it is chilled, nice and chilled. And then what you're going to do before you put it into the glass, go ahead and take a little sip. And if it still needs some spice, go ahead and add 2 or 3 more dashes of bitters. That'll do you just fine. Strain that into a chilled glass and enjoy up. That's right, the Spicy Hucker, this week's Warren Reserve Cocktail of the Week. Now, speaking of Warren Reserve, we have a new promo code out there for you, Summer25. Use the code and you will get not 1, not 2, but 3 Huckleberry Sour Mixes for just $29.99. But that's not all. You also get a free bottle of chili lime or lavender bitters. That's right. You're going to get 3 Warren Reserve Huckleberry Sour Mixes and a free bottle of bitters, all for just $29.99 when you use the promo code SUMMER25. And you guys are going to want to use that because this Huckleberry Sour Mix is amazing. You guys will love it in the Spicy Hucker. We've also done drinks the last couple weeks with it. Just trust me on this one. It's a pretty awesome little sour mix. So that's Summer25 at WarrenReserve.com. And that is this week's Warren Reserve Cocktail of the Week. Spring is here and summer's right around the corner. Time to step up your cocktail game with Warren Reserve. Their huckleberry syrup is made with real lemon, limes, and wild huckleberries, and it's the perfect upgrade for your margarita, mojito, or even a whiskey sour. And right now, when you buy a 3-bottle pack of huckleberry syrup at WarrenReserve.com, you'll get a free bottle of lavender or chili lime bitters. Just use the promo code SUMMER25 at checkout. That's WarrenReserve.com. Promo code SUMMER25. Cheers! Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm Steve Kuntz, and we have the Mountain Brewers Fest happening this weekend in Idaho Falls. And to everybody in the beer community, they just know it as one thing. It's Idaho Falls. And it's a huge weekend for all the beer fans here in the state because it is a festival first and a cutthroat competition second. And so many of our fellow beer snobs are out there right now judging the competition. Very important work, very important. And these guys go out there every single year. I would say it's about probably 85% the same people. And they do a fantastic job because the Mountain Brewers Fest has grown and grown and grown exponentially. They're doing a great job out there with this festival. It used to just be like Utah, Idaho, Montana. Maybe you'd get some like Eastern Washington, but that was pretty much it. Now, oh baby, we are seeing breweries from all the way Oregon, California, Nevada, Arizona. I think we had a couple even from like the Midwest in the last couple of years. I think there was one from Indiana. There might have been a ton from Montana now, just so many from Montana. And then Wyoming, a ton from Wyoming as well. So really has grown by leaps and bounds. And these guys, these heroes, go in there and judge the competition every single year. So shout out to you guys for doing the Lord's work and judging that big old competition. I just wanted to like sort of tell some stories because I really like the Mountain Brewers Fest is one of my favorites. Always had a great time at it and just always loved seeing everybody there. So that was like kind of the first thing was just getting there, and you knew you were going to see like some friends that you probably weren't going to see again. I mean, maybe if you took a trip, like I'm talking about people, if you live in the southern part of the state, people that live up north or maybe out east or whatever, even people that live here, I don't even see except for at the Idaho Falls Beer Fest. So like, I remember one time I was there and I had gone out for the night with some people from work, and we had a great time just going around to the different events that were going on. I think we might have even had an event that night, and finding Jeff and Fred from Selkirk Abbey and Laughing Dog Brewing Company. They're sitting on the patio of the, I want to say Residence Inn, but I could be wrong. And they were just sitting there. They were chilling, having a cigar, and wouldn't you know it, they had an extra one for me. And I was able to sit down with those two guys who are just amazing dudes. And I want to give a shout out to Jeff and Fred because I love those guys. They're awesome dudes. And it sucks that we no longer have Selkirk Abbey and Laughing Dog Brewing Company. It really sucks. It sucks for the northern part of the state. It sucks for the whole state. And I'm really sad about it, but I love those guys. And we had a blast. I don't remember one thing we talked about, but we laughed probably for at least an hour, maybe two, out there in the warm evening in the shadow of the Residence Inn, and it was just a great time. So shout out to those guys and having a good time with me out there. And then the second thing is the Old Red Lion. Now it's called something else now. I can't remember what it's called, but the Old Red Lion, it's still there. The same building's still there. It just isn't the same. So it's a circular building, and all the patios for all the rooms face out. So if you can imagine just patios on the whole outside of this building, nothing else. It's just all these patios, all these rooms jammed together in this like cylinder. And so you would go wherever you went for your event or whatever, and then you'd go to the Pelican for dinner. If you were cool, you went to the Pelican, I'm just saying. And then you would kind of meander back towards downtown, and on that meander was this Red Lion right there. You walk through the parking lot, and you could look up, and you could see everybody on their patios with their kegs of beer and everything else, just having a grand old time. And so invariably, someone would shout down, "Hey, come on up here. 208, 319, 416. And you'd just like walk into the hotel. The guy behind the desk would do nothing to stop you. And you'd go up and have a couple beers with your buddies up there on their little patio. And it was super fun. That Old Red Lion experience, I don't think really happening anymore. I think that hotel sort of fell into disrepair. I don't really know what's going on there. There's other hotels, and I haven't stayed there for a while. So very cool getting to meet new people and also see some old friends up on the patios with the kegs there at the Old Red Lion. And then maybe the best thing about going to Mountain Brewers Fest as another brewer, as someone else that's, not a brewer, but a sales geek at a brewery, is meeting the amazing brewers that are there. Oh my God. And this can kind of cut both ways. So one time we were there and I had met this guy earlier, maybe in that year, maybe I met him the next year, but he was a really rock star brewer, just a fucking rock star, man. These guys blew up in like 2014, 15, 16, something like that. They blew the fuck up. And these guys were just studs. I mean, the first thing that I'd seen him at was pretty fun. We were in, I want to say Cody, Wyoming or something like that. Super nice guys. And they were really cool, but man, not at Mountain Brewers. They were real assholes, and they had a bunch of medals. They had won a bunch of medals, and I think we had gotten skunked that year or something. Me and my brewers were kind of walking down the main street there, kind of checking out other people's events and stuff. And these guys were like just railing us about not having any medals. They were just the biggest assholes, and I could not believe how I didn't really care about me. I don't have any feelings, but my brewers were bummed out by it. I think one in particular was really bummed out because these were people that we really had wanted to meet. We maybe wanted to talk collab with. We were just really excited to see these guys, and they were just the biggest dickbags. God, they were the worst. On the other side of that, though, man, oh man, did I enjoy meeting Ben and the guys from Breakside. They were so cool, and that was a brewery that I really love. I love Breakside. I think they make amazing beers, and I've been drinking their beers forever. And so when we got a chance to meet those guys, I think they were at an event that was next door to ours or something, and we got to hang out, have beers with them. I think we hung out with them for maybe half the night, maybe 2 or 3 hours, whatever it was. Anyway, great dudes, Ben, everyone else from Breakside, just awesome guys. And then maybe my favorite thing that's ever happened, well, there's a couple stories I can't really get into without maybe I need to get like a lawyer's note or something. Is that a thing? Can you get a lawyer's note? Anyway, one of the best things that ever happened to me was we were sitting at the karaoke place, Ford's, and this guy I was with, actually he was the guy I worked with, was ragging on, they had Shock Top on at the bar, and he was just ragging on Shock Top. He was really giving it to Shock Top, and it was hilarious, except for when a guy who looked and dressed just like Duffman, Duffman, giant guy walks in, all decked out. Instead of Duff gear, it was all Shock Top gear. He had the Shock Top bomber jacket on. He had a Shock Top tank top. He had a Shock Top hat. I think he was wearing a wig. He had glasses, the whole shebang. It was amazing. And we all ended up singing karaoke together. So it ended up okay, but it was really hilarious that this guy came in dressed like the Duff Man, except in Shock Top gear. That was really hilarious. And one of those things you just never forget. And then a good thing, one of the things I really love about, just personally about Mountain Brewers, is being able to see all my friends from Idaho. And they come in, or I'm sorry, my friends from Utah. See my friends from Idaho is fun too, but seeing my friends from Utah is always a blast. It's just such a cool deal. They get to kind of hang out. They get to have their beer on tap, which is something I experienced when I worked at Epic. Thought that was really cool. They get to kind of do the competition thing. They usually do really well. A lot of the Utah breweries do. And even if they don't, it's a lot of fun to hang out with them and see what they're up to and kind of chat and catch up and everything like that. So to all of you going to the Mountain Brewers Fest this weekend, have fun. You can be safe if you want. I don't really care, but have fun. Just make some memories. Go out the night before. Maybe, at the fest, go as hard as you want. I was going to say take it easy for the fest and go out that night, but you're paying $35 or $40, whatever it is. So have a blast. And maybe next year we'll get them to sponsor the show so we can give out some free tickets. Coming up, we have a lot of fun stuff coming up, including an interview with my new friend and someone I think you guys will like a lot. He's from a winery in California that is brand new to town, and we're going to give him the royal treatment as well as talk up some Idaho Wine Month. And that is coming up next on the Idaho Booze Podcast. This show brought to you by Snake River Wine Tours. I am writing a book about Idaho wine, and I needed to get out to wine country. I had to introduce myself. I had to see how the wine was made. And Snake River Wine Tours was there for me. They provided an expert tour guide, John, who was very nice and knew everything about every winery we went to. I didn't have to worry about getting lost. I didn't have to worry about driving home. All I had to do was sit back and relax. And wouldn't you know it, I brought 4 friends with me and my wife. We all hung out. We had a blast. There were snacks, there was water, anything you could need. But the best part about Snake River Wine Tours was the behind the scenes access that we got. We had an expert from every winery come and tell us all about all the wines. We did tastings that nobody else was able to do. We did things behind the scenes that other people just didn't get access to, all because we went with Snake River Wine Tours. And this can happen for you too. And they'll accommodate any group, from an intimate 2-person wine tour, little adventure for 2, all the way up to private groups up to 64 people. They will get you out there and in style too. The van was big, it was comfortable, it had tons of room, and we had a great time. You make friends when you go on like a mixed tour like we did. We were singing and laughing the whole way home. It was an amazing trip. We were able to do it on a Sunday, which was amazing. We went out on a Sunday and hit up a bunch of wineries, and you can do it too. And they plan 7 days a week, year round. You can make your trip starting today at snakeriverwinetours.com. Voted #1 by USA Today. There you go. That's all you need to know. Snake River Wine Tours, for the best adventure out on the sunny slope in the Snake River AVA. Go to snakeriverwinetours.com today. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm Steve Kuntz, and we want to wish everybody out there a happy Idaho Wine Month. to the Idaho Wine Commission and to all the wonderful vineyards and wineries and everything else, tasting rooms out there. Happy Idaho Wine Month. Have a great month. Have a lot of fun. Drink a lot of wine. And I want to tell you just really quick, I'm not going to keep pushing my journey to Idaho Wine Substack, idahowine.substack.com, only $5 a month, exclusive videos, tours, stuff like that. It's great. But I will say this, writing this book, and I'm in the thick of it right now. I'm going to wineries every other day pretty much. I'm interviewing a lot of people. I'm about to go up north and see a bunch of wineries up there. So really into it right now, and it's been a lot of fun. The best part, as always, the people. I mean, come on, get out of here with this. These people are so nice. They welcome me mostly like into their homes, basically. So like today I was at Holzinski Organic Winery. It's in Buell in the Magic Valley. I drove a couple hours down there and saw Caitlin and got to meet her and Neil, and it was a blast just hanging out at the winery, talking to her, chatting her up. I interviewed her for the book, interviewed her for the podcast. She'll be on either next week or the week after. And it was just a lot of fun just chatting it up and getting to know these people and their wines and kind of their stories and how they came to winemaking and all that fun stuff. And also on top of that, it's an organic winery. So they have a bunch of other stuff they're doing on top of just having like a real kick-ass like place. They also do all this cool stuff that's environmentally friendly. And it's not, I don't like to play up the organic thing too much because a lot of times it's just like, it's blowing smoke. But these guys actually don't file paperwork with the USDA to do it. They just do it because they want to do it and they know it's the right way to do it. And they know they make amazing wines while doing it. So shout out to Holzinski. Maybe we'll have Caitlin on next week. We'll have to see how that goes. And other people, I mean, out on the slope, a Sunnyside slope, and even beyond there. I mean, I just, I went and met with Mike McClure at Indian Creek. He was super nice. He gave me God, more time than he should have, about almost 2 hours touring his vineyards. And they're really old vineyards there at Stowe Vineyards. They're some of the oldest planted in Idaho. So that was really cool. Meeting Meredith Smith from Sawtooth and St. Chappelle. She's kind of, I don't know, one of the most important people in wine here in the Gem State, that's for sure. And she freaking lives right around the corner from me. So I got to go see her over there, just right around the corner. There's Meredith. It's so funny. And she also very inviting, very warm, gave me way more time than I can ask for. And Fujishin, meeting those guys, Drake from Fujishin, super nice guy. Just a really awesome experience overall, getting to know everybody in the Idaho wine community. Ashley Struble at Idaho Wine Commission has been amazing. She's just kick ass, and I love her to death. Everybody, and then so next week we might I don't think we're gonna have a show next week because I will be going up to the Lewis and Clark Wine Trail. Michelle up there at Visit Lewis and Clark, she's gonna be helping me out. I'm gonna be staying at a really swanky hotel that I'll tell you guys all about next week or week after next. It'll be just a really awesome time to go up and see the Lewis and Clark Trail, see what it's like up there, see what they're doing differently than what we're doing down here, and getting to know more of these wonderful people in the Idaho wine business. And the more people you meet in it, the better it is. I honestly, it's just like, this person is super. You meet Meredith and you're like, man, does it get any better than that? And then you go and you talk to Mike and Tammy at Indian Creek. And then you go and talk, to Bo at Vizcaya. And it's just like nonstop great people. So thank you so much to the Idaho wine community. Thank you so much for inviting me into your wineries and your homes and everywhere else that we've been. And I hope that I'm able to do you justice with my book. So thank you so much. Shout out Idaho Wine Month. Hey, you know what? Do me a favor. Go visit a winery that you've never visited before. You've all been down like either Chinden or you've been to Lewiston or you're up north somewhere or you're out east somewhere and there's a tasting room or there's a wine bar or something. Go into the wine bar, go into a restaurant and say, hey, do you have any Idaho wine? And try it. Just give it a try. I think you might like it. Like some of the stuff that we're doing here in Idaho is really killer. Like doing God, we've had some rosés that have been amazing. Right now I'm sipping on Sasquatch Cab from Holzinski. It's really good. So do yourself a favor. When you're sitting in traffic on Chinden, pull off into Veer, go get the GSM, get the Chenin Blanc, give it a try, go off into Coiled, go to Cinder, go to the new Laissez-Faire, go check these guys out. God, who else? Talea and Split Rail. God, they're all doing good stuff right now. So go back and listen to my podcasts, find out what you want to try, and then go check them out. And we found a new one, up here in Eagle, Three Horse Ranch, Dude DeWalt, and Sol Invictus. Just awesome. I mean, just really killer stuff. So make sure you get out and check some Idaho wine out this month, because those guys are working hard. They really kind of need not your help. They need you to notice them. They need to be noticed, because they are working really, really hard out there to make sure that these wines are good. They're building a legacy. They're kind of at the beginning of it. So it's new and it's fun and exciting. So be sure you get out, check out an Idaho winery this month. It's Idaho Wine Month, for crying out loud. And we're going to be right back with Alki Manson from Langtree, not in Idaho winery. I get it, but he's new to the state. He's just introducing his wines to the state, and we're going to talk to him next. Heading out to the lake is great, and Treasure Valley Chevron is here to make that lake trip even better with a crazy selection of snacks, drinks, and stuff for your long weekend away. Need a lift for the road? With the Treasure Valley's largest assortment of energy drinks, energy shots, coffee, candy, sodas, and more, you can fill yourself up for the long trip along with your car. Looking for something more substantial? TVC has a huge assortment of snacks, chips, and more to munch on during your trek. Hit up Treasure Valley Chevron at I-84 and Gowan Road, or Highway 55 at Beacon Light, and see why TVC is your best stop for any trip. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm Steve Koontz. With me is Alki Manson. Alki, how are we doing today?
Doing awesome. Really appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no. Thank you so much for being on. And Alki comes to us from Langtree Farms Winery. Our good friends, the Danner Boys, suggested you come on the pod. Is that right?
That is. Danner does a lot of help for us out in Idaho and Montana. So we appreciate everything they do for us.
I love him. I love Art's a great dude. He lives right around the corner from me here. Awesome guy. And then his son, Dawson, is like just exactly what I was like when I was selling booze at his age. Just, like, I love it. He's great. You could not ask for a better kind of brokerage firm to help you guys out there, for sure.
Yeah, they're a great team. Whole lot of fun. And, Art's got some history with the brands as well. So when we relaunched last year, he was super excited to bring us on.
Awesome. And now you come Langtree Farms Winery. Where are you guys located?
So we are located actually in the second oldest AVA in California, the Gwinnett Valley. It's a small little AVA just on the northern tip of Napa County, southern tip of Lake County.
Oh, okay, cool. So sort of northern California, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, exactly.
North of San Francisco anyway, right?
Yeah.
Okay, man. Cool. And what is Langtree Farms? Where does that name come from? Because obviously your last name is Manson, so it's not Manson Farms. So where does Langtree Farms come from?
So my family, we're the third proprietors of the winery. The original proprietor was Lily Langtree. She was a very famous stage actress from London. And she came out to the Gwinnett Valley in the late 1800s and planted her first vineyards in 1888.
Wow. And is she still out there helping out, picking weeds and stuff like that?
Not as much in the vineyards anymore, but sometimes we still hear stories of her turning on faucets and turning off lights in the Lily Langtree house on the property.
Now, I imagine nobody haunts quite like a 19th century stage star. I think that's the ultimate haunting, because they are belting everything to the rafters. No microphones, no cameras. They're just all there, right?
Yeah, she's as good as they come, and she's got a wild story too. Her entire career, from birth on the Isle of Jersey to dying in Monaco, just a whirlwind of fun that girl had during her lifetime. Really, really cool stuff.
I've almost died in Monaco. I get it. So you guys produce a number of award-winning wines. You guys have a bunch of 90-plus pointers and all this other good stuff. What's currently your favorite wine that you guys are pouring over there?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest one for us and Lake County as a region, but especially at our winery, is our Sauvignon Blanc. our Sauvignon Blanc has just been crushing it lately. It's a beautiful, bright, refreshing, high acidity, palate cleansing Sauvignon Blanc. Our region's super excellent for it. We have killer high elevation vineyards. Lake County in general, especially our property, used to be a really actively volcanic region. And so kind of in our valley, if you go around and just look left to right, there's these massive cinder cone mountains throughout the entire valley that kind of distinguish it from a lot of other regions in Northern California.
Now that's interesting because we have a similar. Have you ever been out here to the Sunny Slope to Snake River Valley AVA?
Not yet. Art's been trying to get me out there, but not yet.
Huh. You should come out. Come out to Eagle. Come hang out with me and Art. It's super fun. You're going to love it. So we have this little AVA out there. Well, it's actually a pretty big AVA, but it's also built on volcanic, kind of ashy. It's called like, what's it called? Gosh dang it. But yeah, there's like vents and stuff like that out there that kind of give it this, cinder. And it's it kind of gives it this really nice, like, terroir for us to build our kind of grapes on. And you guys, sounds like you have a similar situation out there.
Yeah, definitely super similar, super gravelly, loamy soils that are ideal for a lot of those Cabernet, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc varietals grow really well in some of that drier soil. And we're lucky enough to have quite a few acres in that region. When we first bought the property from Orville Magoon, it was the largest contiguous land holding in California, 22,000 acres, which is a fun ranch to grow up on.
I'd say you have a small state, not just a winery. So do you guys farm 22,000 acres?
So the property itself is 22,000, but only about 3,000 are developed vineyards. So the rest
that's easy then.
Wildlife.
3,000.
Yeah.
3,000's nothing. That's pretty easy. That's like a hobby farm almost. So I guess it's probably nestled up there in the hilly region there north of Nampa. What is it like up there, the rest of the acreage aside from the winery?
Yeah, so we're for anyone familiar with with St. Helena, Calistoga, Howell Mountain area, we are just on the east side of Howell Mountain, and so our property and valley starts in the Napa County, and then flows up into Lake County, and it's really the Wild West out there. There's nothing. The closest grocery store is about 30 minutes north of us. Our closest neighbor is about a 20-minute drive. And it's just rolling hills, oak savannas, big dramatic canyons, and a lot of great fishing lakes.
Oh man, you're speaking my language. This is great for all of our friends here in Idaho. We love this stuff. This is the part of California we don't really know a whole lot about. This open terrain, beautiful kind of western landscape, right?
Yeah, it's the fun part, and we always have different people come up, trade guests, friends, family, stay at the winery and help us keep the wild boar under control because they can be quite a menace in wine country.
Keep the wild boar under control. I love it. Does Art come out there with just like a Bowie knife and just out there like Predator looking around for wild boar?
Yeah, you catch him crawling around the vineyards every once in a while, eating grapes, chasing down boar.
Sounds like something you would do. I love it. So you guys, Langtree Farms Winery, you have everything's named after, or at least everything I've seen is named after Lily, the stage star from the 19th century. Which wines, like if you were to pour, besides you talked about the Sauvignon Blanc a little bit, is there another wine like you would pour like as the one wine to kind of introduce us to your winery besides the Sauvignon Blanc?
Yeah. So I mean, I have a couple that I really love. The Chardonnay is fantastic, and so is the Cabernet, but kind of a more unique, fun one that's that I like to pour kind of on a first introduction is actually our Petite Syrah. Petite Syrah kind of being a lesser known grape varietal, definitely a smaller production SKU. It's a really hard grape to grow. So Petite Syrah grapes, it's part of the Syrah family, but it's not Syrah. But they're very, very small little grapes, and they have tight clusters and thin skins. And so when we're growing that, we have to be really careful of it growing this rot called botrytis rot, because the humidity can get between the grapes, and that'll ruin the wine. And then on the winery side, once we actually get it through crushing and the pressing process, we actually have to ferment it at least 10 degrees cooler than the rest of our red wines. So just all in all, really challenging grape to work with, but the results we get from it are really fantastic. The vineyard we have for that Petite Syrah produces excellent grapes every year. And it's kind of been our flag. It's our flagship. It's not like a super popular wine in general as a varietal, but it's something we do really well. So we always like to share it with people.
Yeah, I think too many people like the Grand Syrah. They like the big Syrah. And this Petite Syrah sounds very nice. I don't know that I've ever had a Petite Syrah before. What sort of flavor profiles and stuff do you get out of that one?
Yeah, we'll have our drop off case of that. Enjoy that.
Yeah, please do.
The Petite Syrah is very fruit forward. A lot of times Petite Syrah can be very tannin heavy and really grippy on the tongue. Ours is much lighter. So your typical kind of blend between red fruits and dark fruit. So plum, black cherry, red cherry, strawberry, out of all those standard red and black fruit notes.
This is really a lot of stuff I like here. You're saying a lot of stuff I like here. Is it, and the color, is it pretty deep, dark with the skins, or is it a little bit lighter?
It's pretty dark. Yeah. Pretty standard for Petite Syrah. You're probably not going to see your finger on the other side of that glass.
That's awesome. That sounds like a big chewy wine. Is it great with like red meat and duck and stuff like that?
Well, actually, my favorite combo with the Petite Syrah is a spicy pepperoni pizza.
Oh, get out of here. That's awesome.
Right through that cheese and pepperoni, and it's freaking awesome.
It's just too bad you have to drive 45 minutes to Calistoga to get the pizza. So
yeah,
it's a long ways to go. Hopefully that pizza comes in you have a nice bag to keep that in for the drive. Yeah. So you guys are out there making all these wonderful wines. I'm really like jonesing right now. Maybe I'll give this Sauvignon Blanc a try. What do you think about that?
Yeah, give that one a try.
Love they use screw tops. Those are great.
Yep. Your tops are great.
So I'm a big label guy. I love labels. Tell me about the label on the rosé is like this like postage stamp thing. Where did you find that, and what's going on there?
So you got two labels there. So the postage stamp label is part of our Lily's Collection wines, and really where that label was derived from was Lily Langtry was supposed to be the most beautiful woman of her time. And she was also a bit of a wild woman, a bit of an entrepreneur, got herself into some different trouble here and there. But one of the things she was really good at was starting businesses and consumer brands. And so wine being one of them, but also, she sold soap, perfumes, you name it. But what she did is, because she was so famous for being beautiful, is she took the portraits and paintings of herself, and she used that as the label on all of her products. So, starting in the late 1800s, she was putting her face on her wine brand. So kind of like the first celebrity brand, if you say.
So she's like, I'm super hot. I should be on the front of all of these wines. And so she just started pushing out these labels and putting them on her wines, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. And so I just tried the Sauvignon Blanc. It's really nice. It's got a lot of like kind of apple and some pear, but it's got like a really like more of a fruit forward blast than I normally get from a Sauvignon Blanc or from any kind of white wine. So explain how you guys amp up the flavor on the front end of that wine so much.
Absolutely. But one of the things that our winemaker, Brian Parker, does a great job of is, quality control across the board is outstanding. But his style and philosophy on wines is really to create bright, refreshing, approachable wines that go great with food. So the balance is always going to be really a key part of what he tries to accomplish in each varietal, each vintage. And so with that Sauvignon Blanc, what he does is it's all stainless steel fermented. And so that stainless steel retains all of those really nice fruit flavors and aromas that you get on the nose. The barrel fermentation can add great body and texture to a white wine, but you run the risk of losing a lot of those really distinct the fruit profile on it, and you can definitely lose a lot of the really nice aromas.
Yeah, I prefer, and I'm weird. I know many millions of people prefer oaked white wine, and it's the biggest selling wine there is. I do not. I don't like oaked white wine. I like it fermented in steel. I like the fruit to be out there. I like it to be crisp and refreshing. I don't really like the sort of buttery, weird. It's so in beer, that sort of buttery flavor is an off flavor. So my palate is so like disciplined towards that I taste that and I'm like, this is acetaldehyde. Like I don't want this. Yeah. But I understand though, in your guys' Chardonnay, you guys use about 30 or 40% oak on that one.
Yeah. So for the Chardonnay, what we do is we use a little bit of oak. So depending on which Chardonnay it is, it can vary between 10 to 30% New French oak. And then the rest will be a blend of neutral oak and stainless steel fermented wine. But what we don't do for any of the Chardonnays is we don't do any malolactic fermentation. And that's the last step in the fermentation process for wine. And that by removing that step, you stop the fermentation process right before the juicy fruit profile kind of starts to get melded or washed away by those oaky, buttery flavors that Chard can sometimes have, especially for wines like Rombauer. They're going to be a lot of oak, a lot of butter. And a lot of people really like that, and that's great. You can like that. That's not really the style we go for, though.
Yeah, Kendall Jackson's the same thing. All those wines are kind of like that. But then you run into I like La Crema, and La Crema is supposedly in that same. But I think La Crema has a little bit more. I think it does. They do kind of what you guys do is they cut it off at the end there, so it doesn't get quite so flat at the end. That's really my biggest problem with those Chardonnays. Is they just are flat. Like they just don't feel alive. It's one. Have you guys ever done? Have you guys done orange wine yet over there?
No, we haven't done orange wine. We're experimenting with a couple different wines this summer, but no, we haven't tried orange wine yet.
What are you guys experimenting with?
Well, we're trying to look into. We've been making great wines the last 25 years, and it's been fun. But some of the new trends in the industry are kind of lower alcohol wines or no alcohol wines. But that's been really hard. That's been really hard to do. And there's not really a lot of great wines out there that are doing it well yet. So we're kind of taking our time with it, seeing if there's kind of a new style or strategy we can use to remove the alcohol without making a totally junk wine. But for the low alcohol wines, there's a couple styles that have been used for a really long time. And one of the more traditional ones is called Piquette. And that's essentially bleeding off wine from the skins, the seeds, and the stems. And that produces like an alcohol, usually around 3 to 5%. So still has alcohol, but much, much lower.
Yeah. It's like a wine cooler at that point. basically. Yeah, and and if you need any tips on that, I can offer one. Just add water to it when it's done. When it's done fermenting, just add water. That'll do it.
That works.
I want to talk about the Cabernet, because this is the one my wife and I enjoyed the other night.
Yeah,
and this is the 2021 Tephra Ridge Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh yeah.
And this thing, what we really loved about it, and we actually talked about it as we were drinking it, because we're those kind of people. And what I really loved about it was it had a ton of like beef to it. Like it was a big hearty cab, and it was tannic. It had we didn't eat anything with it. I think we had dinner before, or maybe we were having dinner later. I don't know. We were kind of just laying on the couch, and but it wasn't too tannic. Like it had a nice tannicness to it. It wasn't like, it didn't suck the soul out of your mouth. It was just like kind of came off as sort of dry, but fruity. So talk to me about this Cabernet, and talk to me about like kind of how you guys are able to achieve that sort of like tannic without it being too tannicky, if you know what I mean when I say that.
So I love talking about this Tephra Ridge vineyard. Definitely my favorite vineyard on the property. Just really amazing location.
Mine too.
This is where Lily Langtree, when she first came out in her stagecoach and she brought with her this winemaker from Bordeaux, and they kind of surveyed the property, and they, after looking around back then it was a 5,000 acre property, they decided on Tephra Ridge as where they were going to plant all of the Bordeaux varietals that they wanted to grow. So we've been growing grapes there since the late 1800s, and it just produces amazing fruit. So this is a really high elevation hillside vineyard, about 1,800 feet. And the vines that we have planted there now, some of the oldest ones are going back to the 1960s. Probably half are 1960s, the other half were planted in 1985. So these are old vines. They've had a lot of time to kind of develop, get a solid root system. So there's great minerality in the wines. But it's just, it produces really, really nice fruit. It's once again volcanic soils. It's hilly. It's steep. You can't really, one of the great things about it is because of how steep it is, no one's wanted to redevelop it because it's just too expensive. That kind of stuff is hard to do. That's kind of,
I can imagine back in the 1800s when it was set up, you probably lost a lot of good men back then. It probably wouldn't be any better today. You know what? When Art brings over that case of Petite Sirah, tell him to go ahead and throw a case of this on there as well, because it is a fantastic wine. And one of the things that so out here in Idaho, our cabs are a little bit younger. So they come off as kind of more fruit forward. They're more fresh tasting, and I love them. They're really, for the most part, they're really, really good. But this one is like a classic. Like, to me, I was like, this is like a classic Napa cab, but I don't feel like I have to be eating this with like a $300 steak. Like I feel like this wine is a wine that I could buy like 3 or 4 bottles of. I could stick in the cellar or whatever, my little shelf thing. And whenever it's just like a Saturday afternoon, it's raining outside, I can pull this wine out and drink it. I didn't feel like, it's not like a $90 or $100 bottle, right? Like these bottles are all kind of nicely priced.
Yeah. Those are $40 to $50 bottles, and it's got great balance. The fruit on it is I think perfectly ripe, picked at the right time. And it is kind of more of like a Napa style, but it's somewhere I feel like kind of between a Napa and a Bordeaux style, where it's bright and refreshing. But it also has a lot of depth to it throughout each sip. It changes throughout as it travels down your mouth and hits different taste buds. But it's not an over extracted. It's not too ripe. It's not jammy or anything. It's still bright and kind of between those red and black fruits. It's not like a jammy Napa bomb.
And what's nice is like it's one of these wines where, like I said, you can just drink it kind of whenever, because also the alcohol on it isn't super high. Like with some of these the Napa cabs and some of the other California cabs, the alcohol is just juiced up. I mean, 14.5 to 15.5%, which is just like a Zinfandel. I mean, that's just a lot of alcohol. And if you don't lay it down for a couple of years, then it's just going to be a booze bomb. This thing, it's a 2021. I'm sure I could have laid it down for a year or 2 or 3 years or 5 years or whatever it is, because it is tannic. I do feel like it can develop some flavor, but overall, we were both just blown away. Loved it. Thought it was awesome. So congrats on that. And this Sauvignon Blanc also, I just feel like it's just got such great roundness of flavor. I honestly can't wait to get into the rosé. I mean, and the Petit Syrah case when it gets here. So thank you so much. It's just so awesome that you guys are out here in Idaho. Do you know kind of what your footprint is out here as of right now?
I know the Sauvignon Blanc is at Safeways. I'd have to ask Art on the specifics of which restaurants we're in. But I know he's started to build up a pretty good base of accounts out there. But yeah, the biggest one right now for us is the Sauv Blancs at Safeway. It's at a pretty approachable price there. We gave them a pretty solid deal, so they're stoked on that. And it seems like people are starting to pick it up. We're seeing some numbers pull through.
Awesome. Yeah. And just so you know, our Safeways are called Albertsons out here.
Albertsons.
Yeah. They bought Safeway. Not a big deal. Idaho company, just gobbling up a little. But okay, this has been great talking about the wine. I want to take a small break and I want to come back and we're going to talk about you. We're going to get to know Alki right after this. Spring is here and summer's right around the corner. Time to step up your cocktail game with Warren Reserve. Their huckleberry syrup is made with real lemon, limes, and wild huckleberries, and it's the perfect upgrade for your margarita, mojito, or even a whiskey sour. And right now, when you buy a 3-bottle pack of huckleberry syrup at warrenreserve.com, you'll get a free bottle of lavender or chili lime bitters. Just use the promo code SUMMER25 at checkout. That's warrenreserve.com. Promo code SUMMER25. Cheers. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm Steve Kuntz here with Alki Manson from Langtree Farms. Alki, how am I doing on your name? Pretty good?
Now you're crushing it. Hawaiian pronunciation's on point.
Took me just one time. Never had to practice it once. So we are going to talk about you. We talked about the wine. We love it. The cab is amazing. The Sauvignon Blanc's really good. I'm sure that rosé is banging. I can't wait to get into that. I will. But now I want to talk about you. You have some very interesting things going on with your life, my friend, including you were a competitive rower. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I did competitive sprint kayaking starting when I was 14. Not a super big sport in the US, much more popular over in Europe. But you know, we got pretty competitive in it, and we did all right in a couple international competitions.
Huge in Belgium, I'm told. Huge in Belgium. So you are the rare Southern Californian. I don't know. Are you from Northern California or Southern California?
No, both myself and my family were all born and raised actually in Hawaii.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And kind of the way we got into the wine industry is my dad worked for Orville Magoon, which they were a big agricultural landowning family. And he worked for him starting in Hawaii and consulted for him on the winery. So that's kind of how we got involved. And my life has kind of been split between Hawaii and Napa. And then for college, I spent most of my career down in Southern California.
Is that Oahu in Hawaii?
Yep.
Or okay. I thought I picked up on that accent. I got you. Now you are a very rare person indeed, because you went to both UCLA and USC. You went to UCLA for undergrad. Is that right?
Yep, exactly.
So you're in Westwood for undergrad. Beautiful, amazing campus. Just the most beautiful place on earth. And then you decide to go to Watts for your master's degree. What is this? What are you doing? Why did you do that?
Yeah. So had a super killer time at UCLA. Loved that campus. Just really awesome place. Enjoyed every moment of it. Did some Greek life there too, which hadn't heard of. And from coming from Hawaii, I didn't know what Greek life was until I went to school.
You probably hadn't even had a euro.
I had not. I was like, all right, this is cool. What are we doing here? All right. And then when I graduated right kind of during COVID. So kind of awkward time to graduate from college. And then a couple years later, wanted to, in undergrad, I did environmental science and environmental engineering. And that was super great. Really helped me kind of apply a lot of those technical skills to the vineyard management at the winery. And then I kind of realized I wanted to be more involved on growing the business itself. So then I wanted to get my MBA. And so I went across town to Marshall School of Business. It was kind of the reasoning behind that is just I knew that they had a really, really strong network in their alumni program. And I wanted to tap into that. And I love UCLA, but alumni network there is pretty soft. It's not.
What are you talking about? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, late
great,
Bill Walton,
great
Russell
people,
Westbrook,
yeah,
tons.
Great basketball players, but they're not always known to help each other out quite as much as the USC alumni do.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the little guy. There's a little running back who's killed the Huskies. He should have. Now, USC is a good choice. I'm just joking about the Watts thing. What?
Joshua Kelly? Is that what you're thinking of?
Oh, Joshua Kelly was also a good one. No, this one, he's from way long time ago. I think he's a commentator now. He's so old.
Yeah.
But he was awful. He was great, but awful.
Yeah.
God, Troy Aikman. There's so many alumni from UCLA that you could lean on. I don't know what you're talking about, but USC is an amazing school. I was just joking about the Watts thing. I love going to, whenever my wife and I go down there to hang out, we do stay at the, what is it? The Trojan Hotel or something. It's like right across from the sand volleyball pits or something.
Yeah.
Like when I was going to school, I went to school way back in the late 90s, way back. And I went to USC on my official visit there. And I was like, I'm from Tacoma, Washington, which is not like the nicest of places back in the 80s and 90s. And I went and stayed the night at USC. And I was like, I think I'm going to go down to Orange County. I think I'm going to go over to Chapman. This is more my speed down here. I want to be by the beach. I don't really want to be next to a freeway and all this other stuff. But now USC is really, really nice. And that's awesome that you were able to go there to get your master's, get your MBA. You got your MBA, right? That's what you did down there?
Yeah.
Nice. You should have gone to Chapman. I'm just saying. You could have, if had you known, you could have called me up. Maybe what fraternity were you in, if you don't mind giving a shout out?
At UCLA, I was in SAE.
Nice. We have those at Chapman. You could have came on down, you could have hung out with them. I mean, they're not Phytos, but they're all right. They're good guys over there at SAE. My friend Jed was in SAE, nice guy. So you are a competitive rower. Mm-hmm. You have got your MBA, and now what is it that you do day to day for the winery?
So, I mean, kind of it being a small family business, I really touch on all aspects of our business, pretty much from everything to working with all of our sales reps in the market, getting out in the street. That's what I'm going out to do today. Out here in Denver, working with with our distributor Empire out here. Nice. And then I, do everything going up to the winery, helping out with the hospitality team up there, put on events, do the marketing. But probably most of my time I spend on strategy and brand for the winery. Kind of in this day and age, there's a lot of old school folks out in the wine business. And I'm working on kind of adapting the wine business more to the younger generations that haven't been as interested in wine as of recent.
Man, I do hate being called an old school generation. I gotta tell you that. That's a strike one. You're really using that MBA. It sounds like you're stretching that thing very thin. You're stretching it out very thin, doing a great job, getting all over the place, getting your hands dirty. Are you out there in the vineyards, just poking around out there as well?
Oh yeah, I spent a lot of time out in the vineyards, working with our vineyard management team, especially during harvest when things start to pick up, and you gotta be pretty on it. That's probably my favorite part is really being at the property itself. Once you get out there, it's so serene and peaceful, and it's being fully enveloped in nature. Stars are killer. It's just an awesome place to be.
That does sound awesome. And I'm going to go ahead and next harvest, I'm going to invite myself out. I think that'll be a nice time to be out there. I've always wanted to be at the winery for the harvest to see how that all works. Now you guys hire like what, 3 people and just do the whole thing?
Yeah, no, we could do it with 3 people. We can make it work. Might be a long night, but we can get through vineyard.
How long does it typically take from start to finish to get everything harvested up?
Well, harvest, it really varies because we're picking fruit. All varietals really ripen at a different pace and a different rate. Mm-hmm. And then within each vineyard, you could have the vineyards are pretty big, right? 3,000 acres. So they sometimes will start way up on top of a steep hill, and they'll go all the way down into a valley, maybe over another hill. And so you'll see really different ripening speeds as you go around a vineyard. Some areas get hotter, some get colder. And so it's hard to say how long it would take to do the entire property. But basically we start harvesting in August and probably finish sometime in October.
Right on. Oh, it sounds adventurous. It sounds like a lot of work, but you know what? If you're making more of this cab and more of this Sauvignon Blanc, then God bless you. Get after it. Now, you recently were on a little trip. You had a little bit of a windfall, expanding into some markets. Go ahead and tell us about that.
Yeah. So I just got back from Korea, and let me tell you, that place is
north or south?
North and south.
Oh, you went both? Wow, you are bold. You're really using that MBA. You're like, excuse me, I have an MBA. I'll take care of this.
Yeah, I wanted to pull a James Franco, but they wouldn't let me pass the border.
That's too bad. Next time.
No, killer market out there. I definitely recommend getting out there. The culture out there, super fun. Work hard, play hard. Everyone's in suits, pounding coffees all day, and then around 6 or 7 p.m. they all go out to dinner together, like every work day. And they have like these beer gardens set up out there that kind of reminds me of like what you would see out in Germany. And everyone's just sitting around all these fancy businessmen are sitting around these small little plastic tables, killing beers and soju. It's fun. But yeah, I got out there just because, the Asia market's kind of been an untapped market for a lot of wineries. And during COVID, actually, Korea really picked up their wine consumption. People didn't want to kill soju and beer at home alone. And so they started getting more into wine, exploring the finer things in life. And so now they've really adapted a palate for wine. So we're trying to see what we can do out there, met a couple potential partners, and hopefully we'll start distributing out there pretty soon.
Yeah, it gets a little lonely when you're at your house just with your wife and your 3 kids, and you pound a 6-pack of beer in like 5 minutes and a bottle of soju. It's much better when it comes out of a tap. You don't feel as bad afterwards cleaning everything up.
Exactly.
I love that. That's so fun. Oh man. Yeah. I've never been to South Korea, but only heard great things. And it sounds like you had a pretty good time out there.
Oh yeah. Awesome time. Love it.
Nice. Well, Alkai, I think we've done all we can do today. I think we've learned a lot about Langtree Farms, learned a lot about you, which I'm very excited about. Although I would like to see some of this rowing how does that work? Is it like a 5-man, like with the coxswain and everything like that, or is it a single
No,
boat?
So it's a little different. We race in single boats, what we call K2s or doubles, and K4, which is a 4-person boat. And we race 500 meters as fast as you can, usually somewhere around a minute, 30 seconds, depending on how many people you have in your boat. Wow. 4 guys, we do it in a minute 20, 2 guys, minute 30, 1 guy, minute 40.
Are you still doing it? You look like you're kind of still in shape. You could still probably get it.
I try to get on the water as much as I can. I love being out in the ocean. I love being on water wherever I can be. But I've been traveling a lot lately, so whenever I get back to it, I jump in and try to stay in shape, and it's about all I can do.
Well, I tell you what, I'm extending out an invitation. Next time you're in Idaho, we'll go find some water to get into, and we'll. The nice thing is the water here, you don't have to do anything. You go as fast as you want. You get on the boat and it just goes. Sometimes too fast, but it's a lot of fun. So we'd love to see you next time you come out here. We'll get you in the studio live, and we'll have you back on to talk more about the wine and more about Lily, my new favorite stage star from the 19th century. And thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
No, I really appreciate you having me on, and I'm excited to get out to Idaho. I was talking to Art about doing something kind of in July out there, so I'll be out there soon.
Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm Steve Kuntz. Wasn't Alki cool guy, right? Like, he's got a lot going on. He's a rower. He's a winemaker. His family owns a giant estate in beautiful Northern California. So lots going on. He's a nice guy. Thanks a lot to him. Thanks a lot to Art Danner for sending him my way, and Dawson Danner from Danner's Drinks. Really appreciate that. Now, what is happening besides Mountain Brewers? Well, we've got the Boise Beer Buddies community calendar here for that exact reason. Garden City Brewgrass Festival is this weekend. It's on, looks like Saturday from 2 to 10 p.m. The ticket's only $32. It's at Brown Beard Barrel House. That's the one right next door to Meriwether there on Chinden. They're going to have tons of live music. Looks like Water Tower and the Pickpockets will be there. That's cool. Tater Patch, fresh cut grass. I've heard of none of these, but they all sound amazing. Dry Buck, Turtle Poppers, the Woolly Buggers. I know them. They're great. Woolly Buggers are awesome. So check that out. That is going to be plus they're going to have a couple of food trucks there, Kanak Attack and Bochi Bochi. And that's all going to be at Brown Beard Brewing Company right there on Chinden at the Barrel House. So check that out. That's going to be on Saturday from 2 to 10. You can get tickets. Looks like online. I would just Google the Garden City Brewgrass Festival. Should be able to find it there. What else we got going on? Dads and Drafts. Oh my goodness. Dads and Drafts. It is Dads and Grads time right now in most of the world. This is Dads and Drafts. This is different. This is at Magnolia Beer and Wine Bar on Overland in Boise. Oh, this is the new beer bar there inside the Chow Public Market at the Boise Spectrum. Dads and Drafts, Sunday, June 8th from 12 to 4. Join us for an early Father's Day celebration. It's a week early, I guess, at Magnolia Beer and Wine Bar. Bring the whole family. Rockin' Barbecue. I love that. Rockin' Barbecue food truck, beer flight plus pint specials just for Dad. That's killer. Gift certificate savings from Tamales Nelly. There will be a kids craft station to make handmade gifts for Dad. Okay. Plus some Boise Beer Buddies. Boise Beer Buddies in general will be on site doing some memberships, extra perks, and community fun. This place is cool. I like Chow. I like it when they opened it. It has a lot of cool stuff in and around there. There is a Mexican place right outside of Chow that makes some of the best tacos I've ever had in my whole life. So check that out at Chow. Dads and Drafts, Sunday, June 8th. And then it looks like we're going to do a pint night with Boise Beer Buddies on June 10th. This is today's so Tuesday the 10th from 4 to 7 p.m. This is going to be at the Pub and Putt in Nampa. 4 to 7 p.m. Happy hour. Join us for our Boise Beer Buddy night at Pub and Putt. Enjoy a few pints of your favorite beer, round 2 mini golf, and there's going to be some delicious food there as well. Hey, guess what? If you're not a beer buddy, come on out anyway. You can become a beer buddy at the event. And also, happy Father's Day. What Dad really wants for Father's Day is a Beer Buddy membership. That's right. Yes, use promo code DAD at checkout. Save 10% on a 1-year or VIP lifetime membership. Or use my promo code BOOZEPOD at checkout. Get a 2-for-1. So either one, you're doing good there with your Boise Beer Buddies, your brand new membership. Make sure you get that. Be a buddy. Get your Boise Beer Buddies card today. Thank you so much, Stacy, for the wonderful update there. The Boise Beer Buddies community calendar brought to us by Boise Beer Buddies. Yeah. I want to thank Warren Reserve Cocktail Company. I want to thank Snake River Wine Tours. I want to thank Boise Beer Buddies. I want to thank Treasure Valley Chevron for sponsoring the show. Next week, I'm going to be out. I don't think I'm going to do a show next week, to be honest with you. So check back one of those other wine shows. Maybe I'll repost a show from earlier. I'm going going to be out in the Lewis and Clark Trail up in the Panhandle, Moscow, Lewiston. I guess that's kind of panhandle-y, right? We're going to be up there checking everything out for the book. And if you want to follow along with that, Journey to Idaho Wine, idahowine.substack.com. Follow my show right here, idahobooze.substack.com. Make sure you're clicking that subscribe button. Help the numbers out, people. Give me some love. I'm on this mic for minutes every week trying to entertain at least one person. Give me some love, why don't you? Subscribe to this show. Subscribe on Apple Pods, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever fine podcasts are streamed. Thank you so much for listening today. Want to thank, Okay, and everybody at Langtree Farms. Want to thank Danner Drinks as well. And I'm going to say it. Have fun out there at the Mountain Brewers Fest. Have a blast, everybody. I mean it. It's a fun fest. Have a good time. Drink some beers. Make some memories. Or don't. Good day and good drinking, everyone.